Now, I'm sure some of you are currently experiencing normal or abnormal behaviors with the weather where you're located. And things aren't any different when it comes to the state of California. But there are many things that I want to point out to you that you might have missed. As of today, California resembles Maui, Hawaii, where wildfires occurred suddenly without warning, and adequate emergency assistance was not available for everyone in need. Everything happens for a reason, and in this video, I'll cover some of the reasons that have come and gone from the public's attention. I wasn't sure if I was watching a movie or real life. Thousands upon thousands of acres of Southern California were on fire yesterday, and no government officials had any answers as to what caused this historic event to happen. When California officials hosted an emergency news briefing, this is what was said.
We have well over 5,000 acres that have burned, and the fire is growing. We have no percentage of containment. We have an estimated 1,000 structures destroyed, and also no reported fatalities, and a high number of significant injuries to residents who did not evacuate, in addition to first responders who are on the fire line. We have over 1,000 personnel assigned, and the cause of the fire is unknown. However, it is under investigation. For the Eaton Fire, it is located in both the Angeles National Forest, the Altadena area of LA County, and Pasadena. LA County is in unified command with both the Angeles National Forest and the Pasadena Fire Department. We have over 2,000 acres burning at this time, and the fire continues to grow with 0% containment. We have over 500 personnel assigned, and unfortunately, we have 2 reported fatalities to civilians. Unknown cause at this time, and we do have a number of significant injuries. We have over 100 structures destroyed, and the cause of the fire is unknown and under investigation.
So the cause of the wildfires remain unknown, and even now, authorities are still trying to understand it. The situation was so severe that local news meteorologists were caught off guard. They received evacuation alerts via text while live on air, despite being miles away from where the wildfire started.
We're just mapping out here are under mandatory evacuations, and obviously you can hear all of our phones are going off some type of alert, an evacuation warning, it looks like.
Yeah, my alert reads, This is an emergency message from the LA County Fire Department. An evacuation warning has been issued in your area.
Yeah.
This is what this looks like.
Remain vigilant of any threats and be ready to evacuate. Gather loved ones, pets, and supplies. Continue to monitor local weather news and the webpage alertla.org for more information.
Yeah, so these alerts come, based on where you are.
It looks like on my phone.
Yeah, and here we are in West LA, and we're getting an alert. We'll have to look into why. It would not be from what we're talking about right here up to the north.
Yeah, that was weird, but let's keep going. California residents abandoned their expensive vehicles in the streets due to the wildfires. This led fire departments to request the deployment of bulldozers to clear the abandoned cars, allowing them to better assist the residents affected by the fires, or at least so they thought.
It's fascinating to watch this happen.
Moving them out. It's like a movie. You're right. It is. It's fascinating. It's like a movie. But I know a lot of folks. I can tell you, the cars that I'm looking at right now, there are Mercedes, there are Teslas, there are Cybertrucks here. Very nice vehicles. But the owners decided to take their keys and just take off. So emergency officials once again said, you can't do that. You shouldn't do that. That causes more of an emergency situation for them to try to get to these homes and the condominiums, because they're not exactly sure if up that hill, if there are people up there.
And Gene, as you're, this shot here of where they have cleared the way, you can see those huge active flames at the top of the...
Now, I just said, or at least so they thought, because most of the deployed fire departments linked up to fire hydrants that were out of water. Yes, you heard me right, out of water, at a time when water is needed to fight the blazing fires across LA. Many people thought that was just a rumor, but here's the LA Department of Water and Power CEO, Janice Quinn Wands, admitting that LA ran out of water and why.
We ran out of water in the first tank about 4:45 p.m. yesterday. We ran out of water in the second tank about 8:30 p.m. and the third tank about 3 a.m. this morning. Those tanks help with the pressure on the fire hydrants and the hills of Palisades. And because we were pushing so much water in our trunk line and so much water was being used before it can get to the tanks, we were not able to fill the tanks fast enough. So the consumption of water was faster than we can provide water in our trunk line. So I want to make sure that you understand there's water on the trunk line. It just cannot get up the hill because we cannot fill the tanks fast enough.
What is the number of hydrants that could not get water because of these pressure issues? What percentage of the system in Pacific Palisades wasn't getting service at that point?
We were trying to keep water at all altitudes on the Palisades, and I think about 3 in the morning, that's when the hydrants went dry above the Brentwood area. We are able to push water on that trunk line on the east side of that, and we have some water on higher elevations, 16 to 18,000, but at 3,000, at 3 a.m., all of the fire hydrants went dry in the Palisades. What are we doing now? We're sending about 20 water tanks for our construction crews full of water to support the fire department. We identify other areas in our system where our tankers can refill. It takes about 30 minutes to refill about 4,000 gallons of water, and we're constantly moving that water to the fire department to get them as much water as we can. For the people on zip code 90272, because we're pushing the water system so hard, our water quality is decreasing. So we're going to be issuing a boil water notice this morning, and that will extend for about 48 hours. The water quality is low. We have a lot of ash in the system, and so please, if you're going to be drinking water, you need to boil the water. Those boiled waters will continue to increase as the system starts restoring.
Now, you would think the governor of California will be doing something about this, and he is, but not as much as most people believe he should. Here's an example of what I mean. When asked about the lack of water and fire hydrants, Galvin Newsom says that the local folks will have to figure that out.
What is the situation with the water? Obviously, in Palisades, ran out last night in the hydrants. I was talking to the firefighter in this block. They left because there was no water in the hydrant here.
The local folks are trying to figure that out. Local folks are trying to figure that out. Just when you have a system that's not dissimilar to what we've seen in other extraordinarily large-scale fires, whether it be pipe, electricity, or whether it just be the complete overwhelm of the system. Those hydrants are typical for 2 or 3 fires, maybe 1 fire. You have something at this scale, but again, that's going to be determined by the local.
It's over. Hey, how about getting your foot off my shoulder?
Yeah, this is the video that got me thinking that it might be an inside job where a random person or 2 are blamed as arsonists, while in reality, the fires were caused by unidentified flying objects in the sky. I'll elaborate on that later, okay? But I want to emphasize that this situation is politically driven, even if you're hesitant to accept that. Okay? Now, here's what I mean by that.
We're in the public safety phase.
I hate to even ask this question, but the president-elect chose to attack you, blame you for this.
What a stupid question that is. What a stupid question. But I watch you a lot. You ask a lot of stupid questions.
I hate to even ask this question, but the president-elect chose to attack you, blame you for this.
One can't even respond to it. People are literally fleeing. People have lost their lives. Kids lost their schools. Families completely torn asunder. Churches burned down. This guy wanted to politicize it. I have a lot of thoughts, and I know what I want to say. I won't. I stood next to the President of the United States of America today, and I was proud to be with Joe Biden. And he had the backs of every single person in this community. He didn't play politics, didn't try to divide any of us.
So in old CNN fashion, they had to control the narrative by shifting the blame from the governor of California to the incoming president, Donald Trump, as if Trump were responsible for what California was going through. These stupid politicians play games with people's lives all the time, and they expect everyone not to notice it. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think Donald Trump is Christ himself like other people do.
Donald Trump, if you can hear us, please, Donald Trump, please save me. Please save me, Donald Trump, please. I'm asking you. Please save me.
But I can recall seeing Trump mention on X that he warned Gavin Newsom to do something about the water in California back in 2019. But obviously he didn't listen. During his most recent presidential campaign that just passed, he spoke a few times about his plan to fix the water problem in California.
They said, we have no water. I said, do you have a drought? No, we don't have a drought. I said, why do you have no water? Because the water isn't allowed to flow down. It's got a natural flow from Canada all the way up north of water, more water than they could ever use. And in order to protect a tiny little fish, the water up north gets routed into the Pacific Ocean. Millions and millions of gallons of water gets poured. I could have water for all of that land, water for your forests. You know, your forests are dry as a bone.
Yeah.
Okay?
Dangerous.
That water could be routed. You know, you could have everything. Oh, not only dangerous, billions of dollars a year they spend on forest fires. And, you know, there's a case with the environment. They're not allowed to rake their forests because you're not allowed to touch it. And all they have to do is clean their forest, meaning rake it up, get rid of the leaves, get rid of, leaves that are sitting there for 5 years. And
we'll certainly get rid of the dead fall.
And get rid of the trees that are fallen that, are like. And you have so much water, and all those fields that are right now barren, the farmers would have all the water they needed. And you could revert water up into the hills where you have all the dead forests, where the forests are so brittle. Because no place is like California. I go to Austria. The head of Austria tells me, we have trees that are much more flammable than what you have in California. We never have forest fires because they maintain their forests. And you have all that water that could be used as water, what they call water flow, where the where the land would be damp. And you'd stop many of these horrible fires that are costing billions and billions of dollars by the federal government, etc. So one thing I'm going to do for California, vote for me, California. I'm going to give you safety. I'm going to give you a great border. And I'm going to give you more water than almost anybody has. And the farmers up north are going to be able to use 100% of their land, not 1% of their land.
Cali, listen, I don't understand why you guys are not calling for his removal. I'm talking about your governor. The guy even lied to a resident about being on the phone with the president.
Governor, you got a second? No. Governor, I live here, Governor. That was my daughter's school, Governor. Please tell me what you're going to do. I'm not going to hurt him, I promise.
I'm literally talking to the president right now to specifically answer the question of what we can do for you and your daughter.
Can I hear it? Can I hear your call? Because I don't believe it.
I'm sorry. There's literally, I've tried 5 times. That's why I'm walking around to make the call.
Why is the president not taking your call?
Because it's not going through. So
Why?
I have to get cell service.
So let's get it. Let's get it. I want to be here when you call the president.
I appreciate it. I'm doing that right now. And it's to immediately get reimbursements, individual assistance, and to help you. I'm devastated for you. I'm so sorry, especially for your daughter. I have 4 kids losing the school.
Everyone who went to school there, they lost their homes. They lost 2 homes because they were living in one and building another. Governor, please tell me, what are you going to do with the president right now?
We're getting the resources to help rebuild.
Why was there no water in the hydrants, Governor?
That's all literally.
Is it going to be different next time?
It has to be. Has to be. Of course.
What are you going to do?
I'm doing
to fill the hydrants. I would fill them up personally. You know that.
I literally have.
I would fill up the hydrants myself.
I would. I understand.
But would you do that?
I would do whatever I can.
But you're not. I see do you know there's water dripping over there, Governor? There's water coming out there. You can use it.
I appreciate it. I'm going to make the call to address everything I can right now, including making sure people
I'd
are
like
safe.
to make sure you do. Can I have an opportunity to at least tell people you're doing what you're saying you're doing? Could somebody have a contact? Can I have your contact information?
Right now.
Man, so at first he lied and said that he was talking to the president, right? And then later on, he said his calls weren't going through. Which one is it, buddy? Need I remind you all of how many promises he made once Joe Biden became president?
That's what's different now is we are committed as a team, as a partnership with the legislature and other state agencies, including now the federal government, no longer a sparring partner, but a working partner. Federal government where we're not addressing headwinds, but tailwinds in terms of the support, a memorandum of understanding, doubling our respective commitments to vegetation management and forest management and prescribed burns to support the Biden administration with resources, not just rhetoric, to help this collective cause. It's a different paradigm. It's a different framework.
And speaking of the current president, Jim Carrey made an inappropriate joke on national television about this issue in California at an inopportune moment while sitting next to Kamala Harris, who is alleged to have been born in Cali.
Madam Vice President, I know you're directly affected, so you fire away. No pun intended.
All right, as the
Madam Vice President, I know you're directly affected, so you fire away. No pun intended.
All right, as the
That's embarrassing, truly. And just in case you may believe he misspoke, he actually said this joke a few times during this same briefing.
I know you're directly affected, so you fire away. No pun intended.
Indeed. Thank you, Mr. President, and also
press new fire stars. So, Chief, why don't you fire away?
Thank you, Mr. President. Mr. President, I hear you.
Fire away.
You hear me, sir? I'm there.
It's all you now. Fire away.
You keep talking, man, and you shut the fuck up, huh?
The message being conveyed to the American people suggests that the president is not taking this situation seriously, and as a result, neither should the public. This is truly unfortunate, as countless lives have likely been lost and remain unaccounted for. Instead of focusing on addressing the real issue, controlling the wildfires in California, the news media and the government seem more concerned with managing the narrative. Soon, you'll hear a narrative claiming that active arsonists caused the wildfires in each location. At the same time, those highlighting the mysterious unidentified flying objects in the sky will be labeled as conspiracy theorists.
Move for me again. Thank you. Alright, there are a ton of UFOs. I've seen like 5 now. Where'd you just go? Come here. Come back, there you are. Hey, come here. Come here. The crows are going crazy.
It's a kite?
Yeah, it's a kite. I can see by its shape it's a kite.
There's the fire.
And it's spreading.
Trying to determine what direction it's going. What the hell is that?
Yeah, it's very bright. Actually, I don't know what that is.
It's not a kite. It's not. It's just flying around. This.
Maybe a big old bird trying to escape fire.
What is that?
Whatever it is, they may. Oh, yeah, that's a kite.
It's not a kite. Kites are not gonna just fly away. It's moving. There's the fire.
Hold up, let me jump in here real quick, y'all. This is future me recording this portion to add to this video the next day, because they ended up doing exactly what I said they would do and blaming a random arsonist for the wildfires in California.
What we know right now is that the incident started here, and about 30 minutes later, a suspect was detained over in Woodland Hills area by citizens.
So someone purposely set the Kenneth fire?
At this time, that's what we believe, yes.
Do you know how or why they did that?
That I don't know.
Is this a crime scene right now?
Yes.
So everything's closed off?
It's being investigated as a crime.
That's why I be talking about close them goddamn borders. Man, motherfucker coming over here, them immigrants can't adhere to American traditions and customs, man.
Brian, this is a huge and very frustrating development.
Who you saw there, and he, granted, keep in mind, this is just the latest fire. This doesn't mean the other fires that we've been covering were intentionally shot. We don't we don't know. Were intentionally shot. We don't we don't know. But
now I want to inform you all of an article published by NBC News on May 22nd, 2023, titled 60,000 pounds of an explosive chemical lost during rail shipment, officials say. Okay? Now, the article says about 60,000 pounds of a chemical used as both a fertilizer and an explosive is missing after likely disappearing during a rail trip from Wyoming to California last month, according to federal records. A rail car carrying ammonium nitrate left a plant operated by explosives manufacturer Dyno Nobel in Cheyenne, Wyoming on April 12th, according to an incident report filed May 10th by a representative of the company with the National Response Center. The report states the chemical was released, quote, due to an unknown cause, and was discovered missing after the rail car arrived in Saltdale, California, an unincorporated community more than 1,000 miles from Cheyenne. At the time of the report, the car was empty and on its way back to Wyoming, according to the company. Ammonium nitrate has been a key ingredient in both terrorist attacks and fatal accidents. Now, this article discusses various instances where this chemical was used, resulting in the deaths of numerous innocent people, both in America and abroad. It cites a source from California law enforcement stating that the disappearance of this chemical, quote, does not appear to be connected to any domestic terrorism threat. Additionally, the article mentions that sources believe the chemicals may have spilled somewhere in California, indicating that even a small amount of fuel can ignite a significant problem. Currently, it appears that these chemicals have not been located. As of today, 2025, since authorities believe this situation does not pose a domestic threat, I suspect this may partially explain why wildfires in California started and spread rapidly throughout Southern California. Just last year, major insurance companies coincidentally abandoned California, resulting in millions of residents losing their home insurance coverage.
Boxes and finding a bombshell, a letter from their insurance company saying they're losing their home coverage even if they live in a place where you'd think fire risk is low.
Lots of families are asking, how can these companies drop loyal paying customers so easily?
Listen, consequently, those who have lost their homes these past few days must, unfortunately, pay for the rebuilding costs out of their own pockets, and that's if they have the funds available to do so. This sounds like another land grab. They create a disaster and make everyone believe it was climate change or Mother Nature, and poof, their homes, families, and everything they owned, including their lives, are all gone. I'm just here to make you think.
Yeah, DNA.
It's Dane Calloway. OCO, Freethinkers.